How's it, guys? This is Davey FPL and welcome back to the Deadline with Davey live stream. First of all, let me know if the audio is looking good, if the video is looking crispy, and then we can head on to this kind of team selection and deadline stream where we're going to be focusing on Gameweek 3. So about an hour left, 55 minutes to be precise, so sorry for being slightly later. But you know what happens on a Saturday morning. If it is a morning, good morning. If it is an afternoon, good afternoon. If it is evening, good evening to you guys. I know you're all watching from various places around the world. So hopefully it's been a kind of a nice start to the weekend. And hopefully Game Week 3 is going to be an absolute banger. So video great, looking Gucci. Thank you to everyone saying that. Let me just get kind of the chat up on the screen. As you guys can see, we have a poll. If you guys want to go vote on that, that'll be appreciated. It's basically telling me who's your captain for this upcoming game week. I've selected three, kind of Jesus, Salah, and then an other. The other could be Kane, Haaland, KDB, whoever is in your wildest imaginations. It could be Trent for all I know, but I think Jesus and Salah has been the kind of 50-50 decision. But currently, it's not looking like a 50-50. It's looking like a 58 Salah, 32 Jesus, which is quite surprising to me. I posted a tweet earlier today and asked about the effective ownership. Jesus just passed this morning 80% ownership in the overall rankings. So obviously we're not really looking at the overall ranks, we're looking at wherever we are ranked currently. I would say maybe kind of top 3 million, top 2 million is a good metric to kind of use. But I think his ownership is going to pump up those effective ownership stats. So I would be cautious about Jesus. Currently I'm on Salah, but Jesus is definitely tempting me. I don't know if you guys can agree, but yeah, he's definitely tempting me slightly. So going on to the actual live stream, let me go on to my team and let me give you guys some context about this. Is that I saw that last night Robertson and Neto potentially were going to drop. So I made the transfers last night before those price drops. So we did save 0.2 million and I did post them for the Legends. Hopefully you guys did get them. But as you guys can see on screen here, this is going to be the new look team. So I have color coordinated it. So please give me some thanks for that in the chat. I know those of you who are color correction merchants love a little bit of a nice color coordinated team. So we've got our Man City triple up. We've got our Chelsea double up, we've got our Arsenal triple up, and we have our Liverpool triple up. So literally this team is kind of a traditional top six besides Spurs and Manchester United. But are United even a traditional top six side anymore? Who kind of knows? But yeah, so basically this is what we have currently. All away fixtures, which is not looking too strong, but we're just going to hope that the away form is going to be strong for these kind of teams. And the fixtures are good, the players are good, so hopefully that -4 hit can be repaid. So I did use 2 transfers. I only had 1 free transfer, so -4 hit was actually taken. In Game Week 3, you don't really want that, but it is how it is. Unfortunately, we're starting with Kane over Haaland. That backfired. With all the injuries to Liverpool, now Robertson doesn't look like a great option. Diaz looks like a better option. So we had to kind of be a little bit modular, and we had to go for this kind of selection. So let me know what you think about these transfers. It was Cucurella in and Diaz in, Robertson out and Neto out. The exact money for that. So what I wanted to say is that if you guys can't afford these moves, if either you had less money in the bank or potentially you've missed out on price rises, I prefer 2 options instead of Cucurella. They come in at 4.5 million. It's going to be Dunk from Brighton or Henry from Brentford. Both those 2 teams have great fixtures, and that's why I think those 2 selections might even actually outperform Cucurella. I think in the short term, he's a good punt, but in the long term, Henry and Dunk are better assets. So I would look at those 2 if you guys potentially can't afford those 2 moves that I've done. If you want to go for other moves, you should have maybe gone for Gross last night because he also rose in price. I just thought that kind of double up in those transfers outperformed the double up I had prior to that. Neto just hasn't had fire. I did ever have a dream last night that Neto scored a hat-trick. So just do with that what you will. But yeah, that's potentially what's going on. G-Ball said 229 people watching the stream, but 400 votes. So the reason for that is that I put the stream up, I put the reminder on it for quite a while ago. So people kind of click on the stream and then they have like a streamer's upcoming, but then they still have the voting. So that's why those numbers will be a bit different. It's just saying, where my bro, how's it going? Let me go back a little bit because there were a couple of questions. Neto to Martinelli from -4. Matthew, that looks pretty strong. Joshua is saying I have 2 free transfers. What would you do this week? I would do what I've done kind of. I think that the Diaz move is better than the Robbo move. So that's what I'd potentially do. Otherwise, just do 1 transfer and roll the next one. Please rank the starting order from Neko, De Silva and Andreas. So De Silva is an interesting one because I probably would have put him last, but because in the press conference, the manager came out and said that Damsgaard is going to be on the bench to start off with. De Silva will probably start the fixture. However, I still would go with Andreas and Neco over him just because I think that Damsgaard will come off the bench and it might be for De Silva. So I would say Andreas is my favorite. Then I'd say Neco second and De Silva third. But between those two, hopefully there's not too much kind of difference. We then have SH. Who's your captain? My captain is going to be Salah currently, but I'm very tempted by Jesus. And you know what that means. That means that the gut feeling might be on Jesus at this point. Ankit saying the legend is back. How's it, guys? How's it? We're getting a lot of how's it signs in the chat. So if you guys are enjoying that emoji. Optimus Prime saying Captain Maguire. If you're on a challenge of getting negative points, I would do that. Henry saying, been watching since the very early days. This season, Davy's becoming one of the best known content creators. So thank you for that. And then everyone's just saying the audio is Gucci. Jason asking me how many points I got for the last game week. I think Jason knows that answer. Paulie saying, morning, buddy. How's it? Paulie, you doing well? Never bet on the early kickoff, says Harry. So the early kickoff is Spurs, am I right? I might be wrong on that, but as far as I know, it's Spurs versus Wolves. So currently I'm not betting on it because I don't have any Spurs assets. What about Elliot? 5 million looks like he's going to play for the 2-3 weeks. So I like Elliot, but I just think most of us have that Liverpool triple up. If you do, then maybe, but I just think it blocks that move in the future. Don't bring in Elliot this week, even though he might be a great asset. I just think there's too much rotation concern, and then also added to that, it's going to block your Liverpool triple up, so you have to take out Elliot in the future anyways. So yeah, let's solo saying definitely captaining Jesus. That's like, I think if you, I don't know, this might just be because I am a Liverpool fan, but I'm not super confident about Monday. I mean, maybe you guys can convince me, but I just think both teams are playing badly. Yes, United are playing worse than Liverpool, but I just think that this game just doesn't seem like it's going to be super intense to me. I don't know why. I think I like a 1-1 draw potentially, maybe a 2-1 win for Liverpool. But then I guess if Salah gets 2 goals, then we're laughing. A bit chilly in Pretoria says it's all it's pretty cold today. And I know it's snowing in some areas of South Africa. Why do you think Dunk will outperform Cucurella? So Mio, it's not that I think he necessarily will kind of outperform Cucurella like super short term, but I don't think Cucurella is a super long term punt. I would maybe say 5 or 6 game weeks, which leads us up to the first wild card. But if you guys might want to extend that wild card further, I just feel like Dunk and Henry they're consistent. They're going to play 90 minutes every single fixture, and the fixtures look great for those two teams. The defensive stats look great, but I just preferred Cucurella because I could afford him. And now with Perisic, we don't exactly know what the situation is going to be. I didn't need that extra 0.5. It's not really a guarantee, but I think it is quite close between those two if you guys do take like an 8-week window. So that's why I think Dunk and Henry are good options with Cucurella. But if you guys do have the funds for Cucurella, I would go for him. That's what I would say. Philander saying, Davey suggests the differential captain. I would say Haaland this week or Harry Kane this week. Those are the two I would kind of go for. But what I will say, though, is Philander, although you want to go for like a differential captain, the Salah and Jesus debate is like 50-50. So it's always tough to go super differential when there is such a strong 50-50 decision. And that's why I think out of those two, maybe stick to that and then just decide who you want to go for. That's a bit rough. Optimus Prime saying, I'm in love and the name is Ivan Perisic, 5.4 million. I think he will play today. If he bangs, it's going to be quite rough because I don't own him, but yeah. Tarang saying, how's it? Need some motivation as I've Dunk and Diaz and not Cucurella. So as I've said, I think that Dunk, and as I said in Discord, I think Dunk and Henry, I was tempted by those two, and the reason for that is that I own Kyle Walker, and I'm not super confident about Kyle Walker long term anyways. So I wanted to kind of keep 0.5 in the bank to upgrade Walker to Perisic, but with the news about Perisic, I wasn't super confident about him. Jesus is better form in the better fixture. So Harry, stop trying to convince me here, because I'm tempted, as I said. But it is true, like he has the better fixture. I know United are terrible, but I mean, I did this last year as well, though. I said that United were terrible, but actually I did get it right because I think Chelsea beat Norwich 7-0 and Liverpool won 5-0. So technically Chelsea scored more goals, but yeah, they were just terrible. And I don't think I can sit again and watch Liverpool versus Man United and hope that Salah blanks because I just hate that as a Liverpool fan. But I guess that's where the psychological bias is coming in. I took a hit to change mine for Martinelli. I really hope it pays off. Why did I take both? So, Leon, the goalkeepers from Leicester, don't expect points from them because they're so cheap. So if you're looking at kind of points metrics, they should be fine. I'm actually expecting them to do quite well today. So they could potentially get a clean sheet today against Southampton. And the Mount to Martinelli pick was interesting, though, because I might have just said stick with Martinelli. I mean, stick with Mount because Leeds might be a great fixture. But Martinelli for me is also a no-brainer. So I can understand that move, but yeah, it's not sort of a move I would do for a hit. But if it was like a free transfer and you wanted to do it, then that's fine. I can't remember the last time I had this bad of a captaincy headache. Haaland, Salah, or Jesus. So for me, Haaland, I'm put off Haaland just because of I don't know if he's going to get kind of 90 minutes, 80 minutes, especially with this friendly coming up that City have. So for me, Haaland's out of it, but I do understand the Salah Jesus debate because that's what I'm on. Bailey and Robertson to Gabriel and Rodrigo. So while I don't like using that, losing that Liverpool triple up, I just think they're too good of a team to lose it on. So that's why I don't like it. But I don't really like the Bailey Rodrigo upgrade as well. I think that Leeds might score against Chelsea, but the next two are quite tough for them. It's Chelsea, Brighton, who both have good defensive stats. So I don't think the Robertson downgrade is worth the Rodrigo upgrade. So that I don't know if I'd do that well. Holy Butter saying you took Robertson out for a hit. Yes, I did take him out for it, and I can give you guys some clarity on this. I actually went over to Fantasy Football Fixers Elite XI team reveals. I always like to go over there once in a while to just kind of check what these elite managers are kind of doing. And one of the managers wrote like a paragraph about Robertson and Diaz. And basically what he said, and I kind of agree with it, is that at the start of the season, I think Robertson was the better pick. But then injuries came about. Thiago got injured. We had some injuries to the forward line. We then had Darwin's red card. And because of that, I now believe that Diaz is a better pick than Robertson. And I just think that now's the right time to do it because I think that we have to be modular in our setup. And I believe that the Diaz Cucurella punts over Neto and Robbo are more significant than what I had before. And that's why I think it was worth a -4 hit. I think for free transfers, it was a lot easier to do, and that's why the hit was a bit risky. But my feeling is that I think that when we get these midweek games coming up, around game week 6, game week 5, I do think Robertson gets rotated. I don't know why, I just think that because he came off on 60 minutes, I think that Tsimikas is going to get a game once in a while, and that's why I think that I went off Robbo. So that's why I did it for a hit. I don't advise it. It's risky. In terms of effective value, projected points, it's super close between those two. So yeah, that's a bit hard. Clyde saying Elite XI, yeah, Elite 11. If you go to Fantasy Football Fix, you go to Team Reveals. It's the first or second tab. What is the best cheap alternative to Cucurella? I have a wild card in Game Week 8-9. I would say go for... I actually prefer Henry right now. I think that the Brentford fixtures to start off with are stronger. I think with Dunk you're gonna have to be patient because I think they have West Ham away this week and then they have, I think it's Leicester next week, which both those two teams you would expect them to concede to. So that's why I prefer Henry right now. But I think that if you want to go more medium term, then Dunk and Henry like switch fixtures. So if you're gonna start off with one and keep them, just go for Dunk. I think that Brighton's defense is better. Andrew Hall says hello Andrew, how are you doing? Thoughts on Gross? I really do like him. That was my kind of next transfer that I would have done. I would have done Neto to Gross, but I went for the other alternative. I went for the more risky kind of play. Kajiso saying Jesus is getting 3 today. Don't play yourself. Like you guys are doing well to try and convince me, but I think I might just still go with a Salah. Tempted by De Silva over Bailey. I don't like De Silva, to be honest. Like if I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion, is I would rather just go for one of the 4.5s, like a Reed from Fulham or that sort of thing. I just believe that De Silva loses his place when Damsgaard is in the lineup. That's what I honestly think. So yeah, that I don't like De Silva, especially because I think he's risen in price again. Is he 4.7 now? But if he's 4.6, I just think that I would rather get those finite amounts. So for example, like a 0.4, because then you can go for a Perisic if you want to over a 5.0. So that's why I don't like De Silva. I would rather just go for a 4.5. Considering upcoming fixtures, is Gordon a good move? So Gordon was my transfer in for the transfer plan on Monday. It was only after the Liverpool game that I've gone and spun different selections. But yeah, I do think that Gordon is fine to go for. because the Everton's next couple are looking pretty good. So we have £5 from Steve-O. Thank you. Is that my McDonald's payment, Steve-O? Did you just forget the comment there? But thanks, Steve-O. I appreciate it. Aren't you guys streaming now? RM13 saying, you missed my question. And another question, who's the best goalkeeper in terms of potential? Raya, Ramsdale, don't buy Spurs defense. Yeah, I would go Raya or Sanchez, to be honest. Yeah, so I would go Raya or Sanchez. I think I might go Raya though. I just think he gets more saves than Sanchez does currently. That would be my goalkeeper. And then RM, just like post your question again if I missed it, eh? So he's saying best 4.5 goalkeeper in the next 6 game weeks. So Raya or Sanchez? I think right now I'll go for Raya. Davey, when you say hit, do you mean you played your free hit? Travis, no, it means that, if you have 1 free transfer and you make 2, it costs -4. So a -4 hit. That's what I mean. So I used the extra transfer that was allowed. Crazy how Haaland versus Newcastle's a differential this week. That is true. But Newcastle have also been slightly better defensively, I think. I also wonder if United have a good mentality knowing Casemiro. Harry, that is true. What could potentially happen is that those midfielders that are terrible might actually want to play for their spot. So now they might actually jack up and do some work. Please suggest the 4.6 defender. I would go for Dunk or Henry from Brentford. Zaid, thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully you get a green arrow as well, brother. Would you start Sanchez or Ward? Maurizio Pochettino asked that question. So that is a tough one, to be honest. Sanchez, West Ham, or Ward, Southampton? I'd probably go the better defense. I'd probably just go Sanchez. Neil saying, you ignored my super chat. Let me go and check. Sorry if I did. I don't have anything here. Did you donate on another form or something like that? But I didn't get it, Neil. So just comment in and hopefully I pick it up now. But apologies for that if it did happen. Neco Williams or Matty Cash, thinking of bringing Neco in from the bench. Yeah, so who do Aston Villa play this week? They play Crystal Palace. That's not the worst one. I might just play Matty Cash, to be honest. I don't trust the Nottingham Forest defense. I think they got lucky last week to keep a clean sheet. Captain Salah's locked. It's not locked, but I think I'm probably 70% sure now. Who's the best 5.5, 6.5 mid not named to keep a watches on? So RM, it's okay. You said not named, not okay. Who's an option? Let me go and check. I have to go load up on the old. I have to go load up on the old fantasy website here because my memory of those defensive positions or those midfield positions is not too great, to be honest. 6.5. I like Jensen from Brentford. Any of the Brentford mids I like as long as they're going to start. So I would probably say Jensen. Otherwise, Eze, I liked him, but it's so weird. His skills were so good against Liverpool, but then he just missed passes. I'd keep an eye on someone like a Trossard because if now we have the new left back, I think it's left back or right back for Brighton. Trossard's been playing at that wing back position, so it might actually put Trossard more further up the pitch, and that's why he could be a great option. Newcastle assets when they look a bit better. Odegaard's probably always going to be there if you don't have an Arsenal triple up. But yeah, that range is super bad, to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It does not look too great. The competition there is not too healthy. Can Chelsea keep a clean sheet today? Karma, hopefully, because of a double up. Start one, Neto, Pereira, or Bailey. Keep Perisic. Okay, super chat question. Thank you, Jason. So this was Neil's question. I would start Pereira. I don't think Bailey starts, and I think Pereira, and I'd keep Perisic. Definitely keep Perisic, and I would start Pereira. So thanks, Jason, for that. Appreciate it, buddy. Dave, you should consider streaming more often. You're a natural. Thank you for that kind compliment. I don't think I'm the best at streaming. There's a couple of other FPL content creators are that great. Yes, my friend, I forgot to write a message. A cheeseburger and fries. Congratulations. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. Good luck with the streams today. Dunk or Henry? I'd go Henry. I just prefer the more attacking outlet. But I know he's not super attacking, but he still is a fullback. You guys know I love fullbacks. I still back Robertson. What are your thoughts on rolling? I'm fine with that, Harry. For me, it was a tough one to take Robertson out. It's just, I don't know. it came down to my own predictions, and that's what, like, you guys have to almost start doing that if you want to not regret your decisions too much. Or you could just blame me. That's also something that you could do. But for example, my prediction of that potentially Robertson might get benched makes it slightly easier for me because maybe Diaz is more nailed. If I think that United will score on Monday, which I think they might, then it makes it a little bit easier because then Robbo might get 2 points anyway. So it's those kind of predictions where they might be wrong, but it also kind of makes a bit more logical sense to do that hit then. But if you're kind of confident of keeping him, I would suggest then just doing that because Robertson is a great option. They say the cream rises to the top. He's not going to have a kind of 50-point season at the end of the year. He's going to have a good season. So he might do wonders against United, and I expect him to do well over the next couple of game weeks. But I just think that Diaz and Cucurella might do better. That's what it came down to. Emmanuel became a legend. Thank you for that, Emmanuel. Just let me know if you have any trouble connecting to Discord or accessing the Legends only benefits. Thanks, RM13. Neil, hopefully I did answer your question there. And again, sorry for missing your super chat. Who do I start, De Silva, Andreas, or Neto? I would start Andreas. He should be fit. I think Neto probably second, and then De Silva third, Ryan. For me, it's not because I think De Silva's a bad option. I just think in terms of kind of minutes, he's the most likely of all three of those to get subbed about 60-70, like he was in Game Week 2, I think. So that's what I would say. Hey, Davey, defender in the 4.8 price range. As I said, Dunk or Henry. Wish I could see your transfers earlier, Manuel, so sorry for that, yeah. But at least you will in the future. But as I said, if you can't afford these moves, I would just kind of go for Henry or Dunk. Williams or Pereira to start. I would go with the attacker. I'd go with Pereira, to be honest. But it's very close between those two. Your game week must be fine, Jojo, if you're considering which of your 4.0 or 4.5 bench options to start. Anything on Perisic? So I can go on Twitter for you guys and just maybe check some of the upcoming things. But as far as I know, people are confident of him starting, but yeah, there's been nothing as of yet, I think. And we also some of our mods and stuff usually post that. So that's basically what's happening on that side of things. So I will check up on Twitter earlier to the deadline for you guys. Let me just go to the bottom here. What's your thoughts on Ben Mee? He's fine. Like, I like the Brentford defense, so that's why I think that Ben Mee is fine to go for. Any of those kind of defenders are good. Sorry. Is Fofana worth bringing in for the future? Gareth, I don't think I'd go for Fofana. I would go for Henry or Dunk, to be honest. I don't think it's always worth going for decisions on uncertainties. And yes, it might be a certainty that he's going to Chelsea, but it's not 100% confirmed. Or a Madison captain for the Maverick. Okay, Salah, Kane, 3 game weeks, potentially. Chelsea will keep a clean sheet tomorrow. Tuchel confirms, says Leon. Hopefully. That's the thing we need from these managers. We need them to come out and say that. Ricky said legends are legends. I mean, I think I can agree with Ricky on that one. That's why they called that. Jiba, I think Jesus ends this week with a high EO because of his ownership. Yeah, I do agree. Most people transferred him also want to captain him. So Jiba, I think it's safe to assume that like half of people that own Jesus probably will captain him. So then you can kind of add whatever percentage that is. So if it's going to be 80%, it'll be 120 then, that sort of thing. And I think Salah captains will be a little bit more niche. I kind of feel like this is what was going on last game week, where I literally thought everyone would captain Haaland. But then when I went on the stats, it was like a 50-50 split. Yes, Haaland had maybe like 10 more percent, but I was expecting it to be like 60-20 or something like that. But it actually wasn't. And that's the thing that we have to realize is at these stages of the season, we're not kind of looking at the FPL community or the FPL Twitter community. We're looking at like the more casual managers that are going to see Jesus scored 19 points last week. He plays Bournemouth this week. And maybe that's where we should step in and be like, it actually is a no-brainer there. That's just too good to ignore. And that's where sometimes the casual managers actually come out best. Best budget goalkeeper, probably Raya or Sanchez, but Raya currently. Thoughts on Kulusevski? I like Kulusevski, but I just worry about potential rotation with Richarlison. I know that Richarlison came on for, I think, it Sessegnon last week, which is a little bit of an interesting one, but I mean, he's fine to go for, but just understand that there might be some risks of rotation. At that price bracket, though, if you're going to bring in Kulusevski, I would just keep Kulusevski 100%. But if you're going to bring in an option, then I would potentially look at one of the other 8.0 midfielders. Andy said, "How did Davey changes confirmed?" Yes, I've brought in Cucurella and I brought in Diaz last night. Is -4 worth it for Saka? No. I would keep Saka in that case. What do you think about Saka and Ivan Toney for upcoming 3 to 4 game weeks? I like both of them. It's one of those where, like, if you guys have Saka, just keep him, please. There's no reason to take Saka out. Mount is a little bit hard. Who kind of knows? So you're saying Perisic starting today, Davey. Is that confirmed or is that just your kind of prediction? Gideon say it became a member, so thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate it. Salah only scores his first goals against United last season. Traditionally struggled to notch. I think... it's a hard one, Gavin, on how to predict how United will play. Obviously, because there's like a lot of outfield antics as well. We don't exactly know what's going to happen. Is anyone going to pitch up for the game? That sort of thing. It's tough on that case. Me/Henry. So I think Me rose in price last night. So if he is 4.6 million, then rather just go for Henry at 4.5. I don't think the extra 0.1 is that significant over them, but yeah. Cucurella rotation risk. Yeah, I do agree with you, but in about 4 game weeks time. For the short term, I think he should be fine. Davey, best pick for Neto, I would say Gross. Gross for me looked better. I was going to go for him, so... Who will Salah link up with? Firmino. Firmino, Liverpool play a different style with Firmino. He's not as kind of centre forward-y. He likes to kind of be a bit more creative, and I think that's going to make Diaz and Salah push them higher up the pitch, which will be better. So that's what I kind of think. The difference between Perisic and Emerson Royale, I need extra money to bring Luas in. Igor, I think if you're going to go for Perisic, 100%, but I don't know if I'd go for Emerson Royale. There's just too much kind of speculation about those fullbacks. I think Perisic's worth it because of his kind of attacking threat. Yes, Emerson Royale's also attacking, but I just think that Perisic's more attacking. I would just go for a more nailed option then. It's not worth it for me to kind of have that dilemma every single game week. Mahrez for who? Give me 4 options except Martinelli. So how much is Mahrez? 8.0. So literally, you can go for Diaz if you don't have a Liverpool triple up. You can go for Mason Mount because there's some great fixtures coming up. You can go for Saka if you don't have a triple up on Arsenal. It would be in that 8.0 bracket, to be honest. That's what I would kind of go for. So those are 3 options. Then 4, you could even go for Kulusevski if you want to go for a little bit of a punt. But or you can just downgrade him if you want to downgrade another department, and you can go for someone like a Gross. That's what I would probably do. I would keep it at 8.0, or I'd go super kind of 5.5-ish. It's a long weekend for Salah captain owners. That is true. But what's going to make it worse, Benji, maybe worse, maybe not, is if Jesus does well tonight, because then we might be worrying. And Kid saying, let's talk FPL streaming on his wedding day. Got to salute the full-time FPL managers. 100%. That's what he wants. If that's what he wants to do on his wedding day, that's what he wants to do. So yeah, he's the GOAT of FPL YouTube at the end of the day. So I'm sure he wants to keep those numbers up even on his wedding day. What's up, Davey? Should I captain Jesus? I can't tell you who to captain. I would flip a coin between Jesus and Salah, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think Jesus is a bad option this week. How's it, Winston? Hopefully you're doing well. I rate Sterling is better than Mount right now. Yeah, but he is more expensive. So if you have Sterling, then that's fine. But chances are you're probably not going to have that much money to afford Sterling over Mount. Did a -8 to do Robbo, Neto, and Bailey out for the Silva, Diaz, and Cuckoo, now the captain choice. So yeah, that looks pretty strong. Hopefully they do well for you. Are you playing De Silva or are you benching De Silva? Isn't Firmino and Jota injured? So Firmino was kind of a little bit injured, but he trained this week, so he should be fine, as well as Gomez. So it makes Diaz and it makes Robbo a better option because Gomez makes them better defensively, and Firmino makes Diaz a better option. So it's kind of a trade-off between those two. But yeah, Firmino is back, but Jota is out with a knee injury or a hamstring injury. Sorry, I joined a bit late. Is this the confirmed team? So yes, currently it is. David Jesus called me. He said I have to captain Saka after this prime. So if Jesus is a good captaincy option, it automatically kind of makes maybe Saka and Martinelli also good captaincy options. So you can go for that. J-Tangs, I've got 0.0 in the bank, so I'm very broke at the current moment. But at least we avoided those price drops of Neto. Neto out for who? I would say Gross. Do I start Gross or Pereira? You start Gross. What do you think of Gundogan as a differential? I'm not going to repeat your name for that question, but I will answer your question. So in terms of Gundogan, he was a good option if Bernardo Silva was leaving. But now that Bernardo Silva is staying, I don't know if I'd go for Gundo. I like him as a player, and I think as an FPL option, he sometimes bangs. But I just think I would rather go for maybe another City asset. Koulibaly or Henry? I'd still go with Henry. I don't know. Where's your chocolate juice? My chocolate milk has not made a return for quite a while. I've actually missed out on it for quite a while, Hamad, so I might be able to get it back. Tanashi saying, Hamed, Walker, Perisic, awesome content. This week, Perisic. Between Walker and Perisic, I think Walker's the more sensible option, but I think I'll just take a punt on Perisic, to be honest. I think Walker's got a kind of cap of 6 points, whereas Perisic can go nuclear, which is why I'd go for him. Please, 7.5 midfielder. Are there even any 7.5 midfielders to go for? I just know like there's 6.5 options, but at 7.5, you might just be better off downgrading. Who is 7.5? Gundogan. You can go for Gundogan, but I probably wouldn't. Zaha. Maybe Zaha. If you want to go for a nice little punt, go for him. But the fixtures aren't that great next week, but the fixtures after that don't look too bad. So I would say Zaha, or I would just downgrade to like a Gross if you need the money. That's what I would do. I'd look more long term. Love people using random red emojis before the question to get your attention. So maybe they figured me out. Now Gbal, everyone's gonna ask me put a red emoji before. Zaha at 7. Okay, so Jojo's also said there. Okay, so that could be. Slamming saying currently watching a stream and eating biltong, addicted to it. So Slamming, what country are you from? Are you from SA or are you from like the UK or something? Or you could be from USA and then you could say beef jerky. Is James a good option for captaincy? I don't like captaining a defender, to be honest. So I don't think so. I would just stick to one of the attackers this week. Why don't you show us the transfers you make before the price predictions? I only show them to the legends this season. That's just the decision I've made, unfortunately. I have 0.4 less than you in the bank. What should I do now? You should go for Henry or you should go for Dunk instead of Cucurella. Tanashi became a member. Thank you. To appreciate it. Keep Perisic or move to Cucurella. Dominic, keep Perisic. 100% if you have Perisic this week, you keep him and you play him. That's what I would say. Should I start Rodrigo? White and Digne are my other options. I like White in terms of the clean sheet potential, but it's hard to bench Rodrigo. I mean, he could do well against Chelsea, but I think in terms of the fixtures, White looks the best there, and I think I'd put Digne last. UK, quite a few SA shops around my area. So yeah, that is true. That's why I kind of asked you, because I know in the UK there's a lot of South African shops. Neto or Andreas? Andreas. I don't really like. I don't like Neto, Pedro Neto this week. But I don't know if you guys saw, but apparently Raul Jimenez could potentially be back for Wolves, which will make him better. What is a good replacement option if I can't afford Diaz? I wouldn't do the transfers then. I would just keep Robertson. Do you think Robbo to James is an obvious transfer? I won't be having be using the money to upgrade Neto to Gross, or is Trippier to Dunk and Neto to Gross? Look, Trippier to Robbo to James looks good. But I still think Robertson is a fine pick. So what I probably would do is I would do the Neto to Gross move rather. That's what I would do. Best 8 mid to bring in Luis Diaz, and then I would probably say Saka, but chances are you probably have a Liverpool and an Arsenal triple up. Then I might go for Mount. I just think that he's going to do well this game week. But it's tough. A Man City mid if you want to take a punt on them. I would say Foden, but then he gets subbed on the 45th minute because he doesn't pass to Haaland. Fundraiser to get Davis' season supply of chocolate milk. Got to keep the legend. So Ankit, I should probably just ask them for a sponsorship. But the thing is, I don't even know if you guys can get them in your country, so it might not actually be that profitable for them. Dunk or Henry? I like Henry. I don't know why. I just have a feeling about him. I like the Brentford fixtures to start off with. That's what I would say. Yeah, so Daniel, I would go for Henry. If you guys don't have the funds to do my transfers and you want to do something similar to me, I would say Henry or Dunk, but I'm leaning towards Henry slightly, but I can't really give you guys a good explanation, except for that the Brentford fixtures to start off with look better. Hey boss, what's the thing with Robertson? What have I missed? So, to be honest, I think it's the defensive injuries and the midfield injuries for Liverpool, and then the red card for Darwin. It's just edged Diaz for me for the future game weeks, and that's why I just think he's the better option. Hazir with a super chat saying team Ward, probably Wardson. Okay, Trent, Cancelo, Robbo, Digne, Salah, Martelli, Bailey, Andres. Got 2 free transfers. Should I wildcard or go with? I wouldn't wildcard. I would do the moves you said, Gabriel and De Silva. Mio says, how do you become a legend on your channel? So, as far as I know, I don't know if I put in the link in the description below, but there's a join button underneath the stream. You know where the subscribe button is? You press join and then you press legend. Or what you can do is go to any of my videos that I released last week, and in the description I have the top link should be how to become a member. You click on that link and then it takes you to a page. However, if it doesn't show up, that means your country does not have it, and then you have to use a VPN to change your country on your internet to sign up, which you can do. Some people have done that. So that's how you do it. Twisted saying Robbo and Neko to Cucurella and Walker / Perisic. I've Mount over Diaz, so this would mean triple and double Liverpool. I would keep Robbo then, Twisted. I don't think it's worth downgrading Robbo then. Yeah, I would just keep him. If you have a free transfer, then use it somewhere else, but I don't think it's worth taking Robbo out then, to be honest. But thank you for the super chat, and hopefully I've helped you. Start Raya over Ward. Yes, Rafa and Reza, I would start Raya this game week. And Nikhil saying, Dave, your team has players from 4 teams out of 20. Don't you trust other teams? I think this just shows that FPL have priced things a little bit badly because I can't afford it. And all these teams are top teams. Kodan saying, how's it, Davey? How's it? Hopefully you're doing well. Henry or double up on the City defense with Cancelo and Walker? I would go Walker, but just make sure that you have a transfer planned. So you can be the exact same as me then. Bring in Walker this week, and then as soon as he gets benched, we take him to Henry. So like we use that free transfer because I don't have too many transfers planned for the future. So that's what I'd kind of say. I think the City defense is undefeated this season. They're just too good. Jack Singh saying, hey Davey, can you please give a shout out to my son J-Boy? So hopefully I am pronouncing that right. So shout out to J-Boy if you're watching. Pedro saying, Davey just became a legend, my brother, coming at you live from Johannesburg. So welcome to the legend squad, Pedro. I do appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoy your stay, and hopefully you're enjoying this cold weather we're having, because it's not looking too good here. But thanks for becoming a legend, Pedro. If you missed the price rises, what would you have done? I probably would have just done the same moves, but just brought in Henry instead of Cucurella. How do I become a legend? Guys, if you want to become a legend, just go to underneath the stream. There's a join button where the subscribe button is, or go to any of my videos last week, and the first link in the description will take you to a page. I will post the link in my future streams. I do apologize for that one. I don't think it's in the description down below, but you guys can maybe see. Worth taking a -4 for Zinchenko in. Deervault, it depends who you're taking out. That's what the -4 will depend on. So yeah, it depends. Robert's injured or what? No, he's not injured, but he's not getting any points. Next planned transfers. Currently nothing. But I can tell you, Will, a future transfer will be to probably take out Walker and Cucurella because they're not nailed. So I think what I might have to do is take out Cucurella or Walker whenever they get dropped for someone like a Henry or a Dunk, that sort of thing. And then I'm going to ride it out probably till the first wild card. So that's why I was fine with doing this -4 because that set us up quite nicely. Dave, you have Pope and Saw on my team. Who to start? I would say Saw. No, Wolves are playing Spurs. Wolves can be a tricky team sometimes if they want to be. So I would probably say Saw. But Pope might be an interesting one. I just think that City are better than Spurs. So that's my current thinking. But I guess you could think that Pope makes more saves. But yeah. Dave, you've got to start some sort of podcast. Maybe not now, but maybe later. It doesn't have to be. So I could do a podcast. I think it probably won't be FPL related because I speak about it enough on this channel. But I don't know. Do you guys like podcasts? I've never really gotten into them, kind of. I always just prefer videos. Winston, would you change your mind to Mount captain if you had him? No, I don't think I'd change my captain to Mount. I think I'd just keep Mount, but I wouldn't captain him. I would stick with Jesus or Salah probably this week. Or you could go differential with Kane or Haaland, whatever you own. But I think Jesus Salah is where it's at. Mohamed Salah is your final captain. Yeah, I think I'm just going to stick with Salah. I know it might be boring, guys, but I don't know. It's just I'm going to back Salah to do well. Any future plans for Perisic if he bangs today? So Wilson, that's what I was thinking. So my initial thinking was to take, instead of Cucurella, actually go for Henry or Dunk. That would give me 0.5 in the bank. And then what I can do is I can upgrade Walker to Perisic. But I just worry about his rotation, and that's why I'm put off him a bit. But what I'm hoping will happen is that he doesn't do anything, and then I can just downgrade Bailey to a 4.5, and then I'll give me enough to upgrade Walker in the future. So maybe if I have 2 free transfers in game week 5, then I might do it. But currently, I made the decision not to go for him. Salah or Henry, who to get? The thing about Salah that worries me is that when all the fullbacks for Arsenal come back, like a Tomiyasu and a Tierney, I don't exactly know what's going to happen with those centre-backs, because I think Gabriel's nailed, but Salah and White might rotate. White might be out of the team, who kind of knows, but that's the only thing I worry about Salah, and that's why Henry might edge it for me, but I do think that Arsenal defense is what you should be targeting. So that's why it's a tough one for me. I would probably say Henry, just because there might be some rotation with Salah. Curtis saying, hey, I don't have any social media, so I'm unable to see when you make early transfers. Can you show it on YouTube somehow? So I do show it on YouTube, Curtis, but I only show it for Legends. So you know those community posts that sometimes show up. So I think if you guys do have notifications for my channel, you will get notifications of those posts on YouTube. But unfortunately, they're only for Legends, so you're only going to see them if you are a Legend, but that's fine. So that's why I've done it on Discord and also on YouTube, because I know not everyone wants Discord. Some people only want YouTube and they still want to be a legend. So that's why I've kind of accommodated both sides. How's it, Davey? Which combo do you think is better, Kane and KDB or Salah and Haaland? Salah and Haaland, probably. Tarang saying Bournemouth has the highest XG conceded. Is that not leading to? And yet again, you guys are doing quite well to convince me that that captaining Jesus might be the play to go for. What we can go to, we can actually go to the fix stats. Okay, so just tell me, let me just see if you guys can see this. I think you guys can see this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to toggle to teams. We're going to go to defending, and we're going to go to XG conceded. So as you can see, over the first 2 games, Bournemouth are down here. So they're not exactly the worst team in the world. And as you can see, Manchester United actually have a higher XG conceded. So Man U are actually the worst team than Bournemouth. In terms of expected clean sheets, it's similar. So we have Bournemouth down here and we have Manchester United up here. So it's actually favoring United, to be honest. So yeah. So I know that Bournemouth aren't that great, but currently Man U have a worse XG. How are you feeling about Kulusevski? He's a hold for me, but he's not a buy, Pedro. I think he's fine to keep. Spurs have great fixtures coming up, but I just always wonder when Richarlison's going to fit into that lineup, because I don't think he was signed for that. Sunset Friday, my main account was hacked. Linked to my... Okay, sorry about that. That's annoying. I apologize for it getting hacked. Jesus is going to feast at Bournemouth, that's all it said. I think he will, to be honest. But maybe Salah will feast as well, and then we're all going to be happy. I don't understand. Do you mean only legends can see your moves? I'm a legend. Tell me how to see your team. So Rafa and Reza, go to my YouTube channel, and then there should be a community post. And on the community posts, it should have the transfer I made last night, and you'll see it says legends only. So just tell me if you can't or can see that. Vardy contract extension until 2024. Someone in the Discord channel said today, they were like, Vardy 1 week punt. And I was like, if you're going to captain him, that's going to be Maverick. MD, who you captaining? I'm captaining Salah currently. Vice captain is on Jesus. That's what I would suggest. Please don't captain a player from the same team, because there might be a suspension of that Liverpool game if the fans get their way. Zakir became a legend. Thank you, Zakir. I do appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoy your stay, and thank you for becoming a legend. Why don't you captain Haaland? For me, Haaland's out of the question. For me, it's between Jesus and Salah. I'm like 60-40 on Salah, but I think I'm just going to go for him. Leon says, I think the Nottingham Forest are going to rout at Everton. I love Lampard, but he's a coach. I do kind of agree with you. I think that game's going to be quite close, though. I just don't trust Nottingham Forest, to be honest. To me, I'm predicting like a 1-1. That's what I would say. What do you think about Dean Henderson? I like him, but I can't bring myself to go for a goalkeeper that I don't think is going to keep clean sheets. And Forest, I think they were lucky to keep a clean sheet against West Ham. That could have been because of Dean Henderson. Maybe he's making miraculous saves, but yeah, I don't know. Nikhil, when I'm sleeping in, can you please do... Okay, so Nikhil, on my Discord channel, I did this on purpose. I said, listen, these are my planned transfers that I'm going to do. If you guys have to like sleep, I 100% agree with that, and that's why I gave you kind of an early warning. But unfortunately, there's going to come some times where I have to kind of check the price rises late in the night to see if they're going to rise or not. So I understand the situation that you're on, but I did try and like warn you yesterday. So I do apologize if you missed that on the Discord channel, but I try to accommodate everyone there. We have a super chat. Rico, Henry, or Salah? Play Neto or Patterson? I would start. Is it Rico Henry as in like... Is that like a different player? Or are you saying Rico, Henry? Yeah, so I would start Rico Henry then. Sorry, I just missed on the name. Yeah, I would start Rico Henry. No, or Salah. I'd start Salah. I trust the Arsenal defense more than the Brentford defense because it's Bournemouth and it's Fulham. Yeah, I'd that one's a 50-50 to be honest. I'd actually say Henry to be honest because of the attacking threat. So sorry, let's go back on that. I'd say Henry and play Neto or Patterson. I wouldn't play. What I would do is I would go with Rico Henry, on your transfer, and I would play Patterson. I think that's what I would do. Kulo versus Luis Diaz and best 4.5 defender for Robbo. I'd go Luis Diaz tie and I'd go for Rico Henry. Okay, I see your moves, Rafa, 100%. 9 more minutes, lock in your transfers. New member badge in 5 days, says Ty the Footy Guy, 100%. Davey squad value. Let me check for you. 1.08. That's my squad value. Is Ivan Toney a good transfer in? John, I do think so, especially if you're going to change your formation. I like that move. Final team. Yeah, this is my final team. Let's go to Twitter to check if we got any team news. Yeah, we don't have any kind of early team news as far as I know. I don't see any early team news. I don't see any early team news, to be honest. So we don't have anything, guys, unfortunately. So I would just stick with whoever you have. Yeah, so unfortunately nothing on that side. So I can't help you, but what I would say is that if you have Perisic, you start him because I expect him to play, to be honest. Vardy signed a new contract, Joe, that is true. Start Dunk or Leon Bailey? Start Dunk, MD. Running the transfer but not happy with it. Harry, the thing is you might not be happy with it before the deadline, but after the deadline you might be ecstatic because Robertson has banged a Hattie and the player you were going to bring in blanks. Please, who would you start, Sanchez or Ward? I would start Sanchez because I just trust the Brighton defense more than the Leicester defense. And also that the thing to remember is that West Ham played midweek, so they might be a bit tired. How do I become a legend Middle East? So if your country's not available, just use a VPN to switch. But please just make sure that you're doing this. It's like it's not illegal in your country or something like that, because then that's going to be quite bad. So just check if it is available. But if it's not, then you might have to use a VPN. But just as I said, just check the precautions of your country. Man City friendly won't worry about any Man City captains. That is true, but I just don't believe that any kind of high octane players are going to start both fixtures. I think that Haaland will play like 70 minutes and then might come off. I don't think that'll mean that he's going to start the game. Mr. Price rises. Robbo plus Neto to Henry plus Diaz from -4 or Neto to Gross. I still like the Robbo move. That's why I've done it. And I've said I would have done it anyways for Henry instead of Cucurella. But it's a tough one. It's hard to advise you on such a move, but I would say if you want to stick with me, that's what you got to do, I guess. Is Robbo out? No, he's not out. He's just not getting points. That's what I would say. How many minutes would a Silva get? I would probably predict about 60. And then I think he gets subbed. So that's why I prefer Andreas. Dunk or Henry long-term? I would go Henry long-term up until first wildcard. But if you're going to go for like long-term up until game week 16, then probably Dunk. I think the Brighton defense is a bit more assured. Bookmakers are pricing Haaland versus on Salah and Jesus. So David, I understand the bookmakers odds, but I don't know if you found this, but if you go to kind of the odds on who to win, they're never really that accurate. So it's a bit of a weird situation. I don't really always trust the bookies' odds. I don't really use them, to be honest. Any team news? Nothing as of yet. We've got 4 minutes to go and I haven't seen anything. I can check quickly. Okay, so please don't check Twitter because we have Boona posting fake team news again. So yeah, don't look at that. Let me just check. You are the best. Thank you. I do appreciate that. I know there's a lot of them. So have you taken a hit? I did take a -4 hit. Yes, Adam. Which striker for maximum 7.4 and which midfielder for maximum 10 would you get? Name 2 options. So is Tony. Tony's probably in that bracket. I think he's 7 or is he 7.5? Yeah, I would go for Tony in that price bracket at forward. Tony or maybe Welbeck. That's what I would say. Or in Brumo, I guess you could also look at. And then in terms of the midfielders, I would go for an 8 more option. You said like 10 more, but I think that's quite expensive. You could always take a punt on like a Sterling, but I would say go for an 8 more that you like. Sterling could be a nice differential, but I'd say whatever 8 more you prefer. If it's going to be Saka, if it's going to be Diaz, that sort of thing. Hope Salah's jersey fires today. So yeah, for Monday though, because I only play Monday. So then I might wear the Salah shirt on Monday. Or we might have a good morning Salah captainers. United shock win, please, says 4. Hopefully not. That'll make me quite sad. A terrible way to start the week. Play Ward or Raya. Raya definitely. When do you plan to use your first wildcard? Maybe game week 8, maybe game week 9, maybe game week 10. Around there, I'd say. It's kind of the halfway point. There's an international break around game week 9 as well, which might be quite nice. Does Silva or Andreas? Pedro, I'd go Andreas. Can Haaland be a differential captain? He will be a differential captain. It's not can, he will be. Henry or Andreas to start? I'd start Henry, Winston. 3 minutes to go. Lock in your teams. Yes, please lock in your teams, guys. I'll pop a refresh for you guys just to show you that the team has actually been locked in. You guys can see there. The team has been officially locked in with the Salah captain. If you're going to captain Jesus, good luck. I know it's going to score you points, but I'm going boring with Salah. Neto bagging versus Spurs. Harry. I might not be that against that because if it's going to wipe out a Perisic clean sheet, not the worst in the world because I think Neto's ownership will be low anyway because most people will bench him. So not the worst decision probably to happen. We have a long wait before the captaincy. That is true. Start Williams or Patterson? I'd start Williams probably. That's my current thinking. I think Williams is slightly more attacking than Patterson, but RM, if it's between your 4.0 defenders, I don't think it's that bad. I'm captaining Jesus as Christian. Need a Monday. Good morning. Okay, 100%. We will do a good morning captain. Does that change your mind about who to captain? We will be doing a good morning to Salah captains on Monday. Salah 1 goal incoming. Jesus 2 goals. Jotaro, if Jesus gets no bonus points and Salah gets 3 and a clean sheet, we might actually take that. Everyone will play 3-2-1 system this week. What a bore! It is a boring FPL season, but I think come that first wild card, we'll see the switch ups. But yeah, like a couple of seconds to the deadline, guys. So please get those teams locked in. Andreas or De Silva? I prefer Andreas. Andreas or Matty Cash? I think I might just still go with Matty Cash. He has attacking and defensive returns potentially. Henry Diaz to Robbo Neto with the -4. Andy, I would have done that move. I've said I would have done that move even if I didn't have Cucurella to have Henry. So that's what I would have gone for. Salah blanking, Jesus banging. So hope it's the other way around. But the deadline has passed. And as Tarang saying, may the best kind of player win. If you have Captain Jesus, good luck. In terms of the poll, we had 35%. So I think it was pretty split this week. 1,800 votes as well. So 56 on Salah, but I think that it will be 50-50 between these two. But yeah, guys, it's going to wrap up the deadline stream for Gameweek 2. Thank you for joining me on your Saturday morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you guys are around the world. Hopefully it's going to be a banger game week, even though there are a full team of away fixtures. And come Tuesday, when we overlook our team, we're going to be absolutely smiling with the Salah Hattie at the end of that captain armband. But hopefully you guys have a safe weekend and an enjoyable one. And I'll recheck you guys next week. So may the green arrows be in your favor. But I'm going to sign off. It's been Davey FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.